I never denied.
Man. Okay, I don't know why my intro isn't playing. That's awesome. What is going on here? No intro. Fair enough. We won't have an intro. Now, I wanted to discuss the sunflower from the concrete is where I rose. It's just perspective, ain't no location for highs and lows. I can't believe a lie no more, the truth is in my soul. Holy Spirit, hold my pen, I'm writing with a ghost. The war is on, my hands are up, I'm fighting on 10 toes. I ain't come this far, fight this hard to make myself known. And I can't switch sides no more, the focus in the road. And I'm trying to eat you, I play garnish with goals. I keep my faith day out and keep subscribing to. What in the fuck? Sorry, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Oh. Is this going now? I have no idea. Is this going now? All right. I don't know what happened there. Something really odd. Whatever. More techno fun. Okay, so I made a video about the picture. Now, the picture, I'm not going to get into too much detail on. I had a conversation. I just got off the phone with somebody involved with the picture directly, and I felt really terrible because I felt like it came out from me. And anyway, it put me in a very hard spot because what am I going to do? Am I going to delete stuff over in the Discord? Likewise, how do I protect somebody's wishes to keep that kind of maybe on the down low for the time being? Do I have two people, honestly? That's it. I love you guys. I love G. I love One Pissed Off. Is there something funny going on I'm not understanding here? Maybe everybody's having dinner. Okay, well, there's the two of us. 3. All right. So we're going to discuss the picture a little bit. Now, I do have the pictures, right? Or how do I even phrase some of this? I'm going to use the picture that Indo's put up. How is that? Because that's the right way to do this. So let's bring up Indo's picture because I don't want to. Wow, this is difficult. I didn't want to talk about this yet because of the request from this person and because it's obviously a huge to me. Looking at this for a while, it's a bombshell picture, a very bombshell, and I'm sure those of you who have looked at this understand that. In terms of the timing of things, let's see if I can get the photo analysis. So my apologies to Mirage and a couple of other people who posted the picture and I deleted it. But I would have done the same thing. I didn't delete it. I asked them, and they deleted it. Thank you very much to the two of them. But it's out there, so we better talk about it. How's everybody doing? I almost had a fluid moment in my pants when I saw that. It's been like a game. All right, now. Let's save this version and blow it up. Okay. I was also going to talk about something else too. The rest of the photo stuff, this is very awkward. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to keep things from people. I'm really not. That's not what it's about. It's trying to respect people's wishes. Okay, so I'll do this and then I'll do that. Now, here's the picture. As you can see, we have Mr. Weber's vehicle on scene. We have two cars that are not on fire. We have a door ajar. We have an individual who, I wonder if I've got that stuff. I must have it. That has some hair. They have some hair. That's a problem. Let's just do it this way. I'm worried about opening up the original picture. So, okay. And I was hoping to get the picture cleaned up too, because I think that's very important. It's very messy and not a very good resolution. As you can see, it's very pixelated. Ugh, this copy is really bad. Okay, give me one moment on that. We'll do this. Okay, this one's a little better. Here. Okay, now I don't know if you guys can see well enough here, but this person has dark hair. Or what most certainly appears to be dark hair. Yes, this is the mystery picture. This is the mystery picture that's been discussed. The hair is dark. Mr. Wortman didn't have hair. And the hair that he had was very short cropped and light. So from afar, the hair would appear bald, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. So what are we seeing here? Let's start with this. What are you seeing when you look at that? You're seeing the actual perpetrator of the crime, the actual assailant. That's the timing of this picture, which nobody obviously has pictures of. Maybe the baseball cap got knocked off in an accident, but we don't have any, again, damage to the front end of Heidi Stevenson's car, supposed car. there isn't evidence of a push bar. The accident scene is strange from this angle. I would ask, please don't think about where it is taken from, but just that it's a different angle that we're looking at here. But you have to understand the timing of how these things, the series of events that are going on, right? You have the initial, this would fall before the other picture. I believe it was posted also. Let's see here. Make sure I'm not bringing up other stuff. That is this one. Right. Okay, so we have this picture, and this is taking place, to me, and correct me what your guys' thoughts are, slightly before the other picture that we see, which we have here. And then subsequent to that, we get the, oh shit, I had it all mapped out. The, thought he was wearing a baseball cap. Okay, then you're going to get this. Is it this picture? Yes. So this picture is the next picture in the series, where we now have ERT on scene, one car on fire, Heidi Stevenson's car. The body, sorry, the video comes slightly in between this picture, the one where we all see the shot a cop, shot a police officer right in front of us. And then we have the other view, which again is overlapping. Let's see, where's that? Right here.
This is so fucked. He's in that car. He's in that car. They're dragging him out. Look, they're dragging somebody. Oh my god.
So here we got the body now coming in behind. Then it would be the photo, right? The photo takes place now because we have the body coming in from, of course, behind. There we go, from a different angle. And then the video continues, and we actually step into the other video from the other side.
Oh my fuck. This is fucking crazy.
Now this is a bit further on, but so we have the ERT team members down in the gully here, right? Remember how they went down in the other video? And here they're coming back out. And they're yelling about where's the other police officer. And then subsequent to this, the ERT team members leave the scene at a very high rate of speed and travel. So I won't show you the rest of that because that reveals some other things. Now, so that is the order of the pictures. Now, We need somebody that is good at photo enhancement. Somebody that is skilled in photo enhancement. Somebody that we can trust, that will fix some of these pictures. Maybe afraid of explosion or ammo off in fire. Right, because it does progress then from, into the other pictures, which we all see of the cars fully engulfed in flames. Now, Darcy Sack factors into this too, because she said that she saw the silver, she called it a silver tracker, I think it was 3 times. Her story has changed a little bit too. And in this scene here, when the RT team members are going to be taking off shortly after this, right? And they go at very high rate of speed, but it's all so close that the timing is extremely tight on all of this, because you can literally map it out almost on how fast these things happen. Plus, we have the statement from the red jacket fellow, I forget his name, who's also featured, the same person who's featured in the warrant, who's talking about things. So I would spend some time looking at that photo. Yes, I'll leave it at that for the time being, because there's enough there. And if we can get the people, somebody, hopefully, I was hopeful to get the photo cleaned up and have confirmation from this other person before we went ahead and released that. But I guess that came out, and thank goodness it's not from over on our end. So I feel okay, because we don't want anybody ever feeling like their trust is violated. And I didn't have to edit anybody. So please look closely at that picture. It is a very special picture. There is other components to that picture. Very much other components. That's right. Thank you, Mr. Moneypenny. Eric Fisher, who Steve has reached out to and has not got a reply. I don't know if anybody knows Mr. Eric Fisher. I don't know if anybody knows any of these people. We've got to get these people to start speaking. But this picture right here is quite, I mean, when I saw it, I don't know how to describe it, but I couldn't believe it, because essentially this is the actual crime taking place, and we see the supposed murderer in the process of committing what would be 2 homicides, right? Or so what the RCMP tell us. I would be curious to see what your guys' observations are, sharing with me. I saw something about the aerial on the car. That's interesting. But again, we don't have the push bar. What's going on there? And when I saw this, I put this was my opinion, was this coupled with O'Deer's part, what we have is possibly the person with the tattoo and the hair here. How tall do I think the guy is? I tried to figure that out. I don't know, but he doesn't appear to me to be 6'2" or 3. But again, it's it's the distance. I mean, where is this person standing? I think they're standing closer to the car. I could never even tell if he had an arm extended. I don't think so. I think that's the RCMP badge on his shoulder. There was also something about the jacket being stuck on something. What was that? Frankly, I don't think this Mr. Wortman is 6'2", 6'3", and quite slender, and with hair that would not really appear as hair. So, who is this individual? Because this isn't a regular police officer, right? If it is a regular police officer and there's maybe more to the picture, there's no other cars in sight, right? So, police cars. So what are we talking about here? It can only be the assailant, unless Joey Weber is driving, or sorry, the assailant is driving Joey Weber's vehicle, or a policeman is driving Joey Weber's vehicle. And the family has confirmed that that is in fact Joey Weber's vehicle, the mother's Explorer, right? Another thing I wanted to talk about, please, I'm going to read your comments here, so let me know what your thoughts are. The blur across the top of the, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that part. Okay, now, wanted to talk about an article also. Where's that? Oh, bollocks. Do I still have that window? Right. So, do you remember how this is going to get into the Campbell statement? The Campbell statement, the Campbell reaching out to Linda McMillan. So if you all remember, those of you who happen to join us, I read the article and we went through it together, right? And I archived it because that's what I do. And they never, ever put out any sort of video clip associated with this. I will get back to the picture stuff here in a moment. But this is interesting because this is more proof that the media is burying stuff on the behest of the RCMP. So how did this interview come out, right? First, we had the reach out by Campbell to his friend, is probably somebody who he had worked with in the media in Vancouver when he was stationed there, who was a Toronto Star reporter. This is very, very, very atypical of the RCMP because they're into the shut it down, right? Shut it down. We're not answering questions. Plango has his articles come out about the money, and they immediately do something very different than I have ever witnessed before, which is the defensive. And so now they actually pursue media. And so they reach out to their friends. And then we had the lengthy, what was referred to as a lengthy interview with CBC. And that was I believe it was the Wednesday, is that right? And we streamed the entire way through, and families were told, oh, there's going to be this lengthy interview, just watch CBC. And there was nothing. And there was nothing the next day. And then Friday they sent a letter and they said, oh, sorry, it's because of they were looking for additional perspective. I believe this is actually verbatim their words. CBC was looking for additional perspective on the story. So it would not be on until Monday. So by this point, the families have already sat around for 3 days. I'm assuming many of them watched the television. I haven't talked to any of them about that, but had watched the television, waiting as promised for this interview that never appeared. And then Monday rolls around, and what do we get? Well, we got this article, and we went through this article on Monday, and I archived the article. But if you go through it, right to the bottom, of course, there's no video associated with this, and there never was. However, somebody was the person actually about the picture I was discussing with. We were talking about this, and so I brought up the article, and he said, "Oh, well, I've seen a video," and I said, "What? Where have you seen a video of this?" And he said, "Well, it's on the article." And I said, "No, I know for sure. We went through the article. There was no video associated with this." And lo and behold, after the fact, what does CBC do? CBC adds a video. If we go to the bottom of what's currently on the web, so I'll include both links so you can have a look for yourself. This is the new link to the article. And this is the old link to the archived copy that we made that night, or that morning, I think it was. But if you scroll to the bottom of this, there, funnily enough, is a video now, which has been subsequently added. And I would like to hear it and see what Mr. Campbell says. Superintendent Campbell, here we go. Has anybody seen this yet? No push door, taller guy, no hat, means different guy. Do you think taller? Extra money. Different car than in Millbrook. Well, the push bar. Yeah. Now we had the, okay, do I want to do all this now? The push bar, right? But we also have the abandoned car. Do you remember the abandoned car? Was there a vehicle swap at some point? I'm just throwing out theories. This is something that I thought about. Was there a vehicle swap? And this is what they're talking about in the EHS tape, where they're referring to the, could somebody please come and pick up this unlocked cruiser? Is that with a push bar? We have reference to also a numbered car, and the EMT is checking something on the tablet about the number and comes back and says, oh yes, that's the one. Are we talking about the 28B11 car, the Millbrook car, and then it gets changed for a different car? I know this is getting a little tinfoily, but is that what we're talking about? I'm going to go over to the video, if you guys don't mind, just because I've never heard this before, and I don't know if you all have. Milford. Is that in Milford? I'm going to have to go back and double check the where that takes place. I don't know if, do they identify where that was? Mr. Moneypenny, do they identify where the car was abandoned? So we have some loose ends here, clearly. Like, obviously we did, but we have more. We have the abandoned cruiser, an officer shot in the foot, a gun in the woods, now a man who appears to have hair. I don't think, is there any disputing by anybody in this chat that there was hair on that individual? I keep jumping back and forth, but is there any dispute that there's hair on this individual? Hair. Because it certainly looks like hair to me. It doesn't appear to be somebody who is bald. Is there enough time for an EHS swap? Again, I think it's very important, very, very important that we get a thorough timeline. Thorough, as in mapped out, these are the times that we know of, throwing in the times of the witnesses of certain things. Like there are witnesses that did come forward with times. Lillian Heislip's friend, the neighbors across the street from McLeod and Jenkins, and also the father-son team who came across Bagley. So we know that those are 3 times that we can insert in, and I believe those times, frankly, versus the RCMP. So if we have the actual route where he's driving, because he drives a lot of different places that people don't know about. I think there's something about going over to the Big Dig excavation services for a period of time. And we're putting together what the RCMP are saying, what witnesses are saying, what the Twitter timeline says, and you try and sew it all to, and also, when I say RCMP, I'm talking about the timeline that they give us on the 28th, and also the 24th. We do get some times in the 24th. So putting those together and having a firm timeline that as firm as possible, because it's pretty spongy, right? So then we can figure out maybe what times people can be in certain places. Are we talking about maybe the fact that there might be multiple people involved? I know this is again into the this stuff, right? But honestly, there seems to be some issues about whether I can't say anything much more now at this point. But it is lots of good stuff there. Let's have a listen to the player on.
Our world is different now, and if you're ready to get back out there, so
this is foul. Okay. You don't believe that the person could be the same height? Gosh, this is kitty cat now. Here we go with the RCMP.
Said that we may never understand fully, like the reasons why. I've used words like senseless. I don't think that anyone can really make any sense truly over what he did. But what I'll say is that I do know that worldwide pandemic, COVID, was a source of concern for the government.
It's audio okay.
And that he had done many things that would suggest that he was preparing for a number of breakdowns in infrastructure. For example, we do know that he had purchased a significant amount of gasoline. We know that he liquidated assets into a form of cash money, and that he had stockpiled food. All the kinds of things that people would do if they believed that regular structures, infrastructure would start to decay or collapse.
He's stockpiling food. This is a new one. Stockpiling food? I've never heard anything about stockpiling food. Maybe other people have. Frankly, it looked like he burned his house down. I don't think he was stockpiling food to burn it.
And that he voiced concerns about the pandemic, and that he might be prepared.
So concerned about the pandemic. So concerned about the pandemic that he's investing and wants to get engaged in other business. Does that make sense to you? No.
Is not normally working the way they normally would. And that even includes, comments that he made to individuals close to him about the replica police vehicle. His comments were that if he needed to escape, that he wouldn't be challenged if he was driving such a vehicle. So that's included. We can't ignore those realities and those facts. These are pieces of information that were shared with us from people very close to him, and the evidence was clearly there. We've uncovered video evidence of him purchasing the gas. We know through his financial transactions that he actually did those things.
$300 worth of gas. That's not a lot of gas. Is that what it was? $300? I mean, my pickup takes 100 and I don't know, 120. And that's Alberta prices. I don't think 300 is a lot of gas.
In terms of the gas, there's also, looking at that he was purchased a large quantity of gas that he ended up, RCMP said, used to burn property. Is the gas also being viewed as evidence that he's planning this mass murder?
So what I'd say is that if absent
What
of
I'd say.
COVID-19, if you were to take those things, meaning the purchases of the gas or the construction of the mock police vehicle, taking out large significant sums of money or liquidating assets, standing by themselves, certainly they would look or appear as if someone was planning to do what actually took place. But then when you lay that over top of comments that he had made over the course of time since the pandemic started, that he was concerned about that. And I would imagine that if you were to ask individuals, just regular, normal people, did you try to stockpile extra groceries? Did you fill up an extra gas canister? Did you take out a little extra money from the bank? Well, I'm going to be the first person that's going to admit I took out a little bit of extra money to have cash money on hand. I actually filled up a couple of extra gas tanks. I filled up some propane tanks. I personally wanted to make sure that I had things for my family, and that's not unreasonable. So again, without the COVID-19 or the pandemic, those things would be highly suspicious. But considering what's happening in our world right now, again, it's to the extreme. However, it appears that he did many things to the extreme, and that provided him, I think, with the necessary tools to carry out what he had done.
The stockpiling food? The stockpiling food gave him the necessary tools, which he just then burned?
There's been no evidence that he was pre-planning this. Now, what I would say is that people close to him had spoken about comments that he would make that were, I would say, offside comments, but no direct information that someone has come forward and said that they believe that he had this particular plan, that he was going to execute this plan in the way that he did on the date and the time that he did that. No, we haven't covered anything like that at all.
This way, we're understanding that investigators who've spoken and people close to him, that they felt that he was preparing because of the pandemic and nothing beyond that.
That's the information that we've been provided, yes.
The RCMP car and the decals, he purchased this car some time ago before COVID started. So how do you reconcile that with that he was getting it?
Sometime before. These questions are really softball. When did he purchase the car? From whom did he purchase the car? Where did he get the decals? They're just softball, offside comments. Yeah, I mean, what are we talking? Locker room talk with Donald Trump?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. We've asked people why the car. Again, we're not in the mind of the individual, so we really don't know. And we do know that he had purchased police cars. I mean, they're not expensive to purchase once they've been taken out of fleet.
New?
He didn't start constructing the police car until the fall, and of course, the pandemic hadn't hit at that time. What people close to him?
Whoa. He started building it in the fall. That's contrary to what Mr. Walker says. That's contrary to the fellow on Facebook says. Both of which were cited as firsthand sources in the media. No. That's not the fall.
About it and why. And many people knew. Many people from the community knew about that police car that he was constructing. Why he was doing that, and the answer was that it was to be like a representative of fallen officers.
Whoa!
People bought that story.
It was representative of fallen officers. Okay, this is where this reference comes from now. And now I understand. So he builds a car for fallen officers, but he threatens officers in the Nova Scotia intelligence briefing. He thinks the world is falling to pieces, so he wants to go and invest in new businesses, to which you have an email. No, these are oxymorons. They're contradictory statements. Well, they're not oxymorons, but they're contradictory statements. They obviously do not make sense. He's stockpiling food so that he, in his plan, can burn down his house with all the food in it. Because that's what you're going to do, right? That makes sense. These statements are just utter drivel. They contradict each other in court, even.
But why he wanted it, needed it, decided that he was going to do it at the particular time, obviously we'll never know.
Okay, so that was the lengthy interview that was added subsequently. I have no idea when it was added. It says it's 20 days ago. 20 days ago, which would make it, which date? 16. So that's going to put it back 4 days. That's going to put it back at the Friday, right? Is that right? The 16 plus 4 is, well, the Friday or the Saturday. It looks like the Saturday. And this article, Saturday the 27th, this article was originally published on the Monday, the 29th. So on the 29th, they didn't have a video. 2 days later, no video. And yet they say, oh, no, the video was there. We go to the top. No, I don't think so. I think that they're doing little funny games here. This is the second time I found Elizabeth McMillan doing this. I don't know if this is her personally or the RCMP, but very questionable as to the other one was the Wikipedia reference to the gas station, and that was removed. Though it's still there. You just have to go to the archived copy. Archiving is very good. Was Campbell planning something? Gas was like 50 cents. Somewhere's maybe 55, 65 cents. So that's 600 liters of gas, which is an extraordinary amount. I mean, for a truck, that's 6 tanks of gas. I mean, it's not really exuberant amounts of gas. And frankly, lots of people did buy extra things just because they didn't want to go to the store. They didn't want to be hassled. They didn't want to line up. They don't want to wear masks. Maybe they can't get out of their house. Is it really crazy to think that he might have bought some gas? It's a bit asinine, personally. Anyway, I do hope that the picture thing, we can come up with some theories on this, because it is a very important picture. It ties to, you did see that video. It was not on the, wasn't on the original article though. They pumped that in, even though the video was done 2 days earlier, which subsequently actually even means, let me go through the emails that the RCMP sent. I'll go back here to this just so I can look at the email, because actually that means that the RCMP didn't tell the truth about when they did the tell the truth when they did the interview. Okay, so the original one was sent on the 24th, and they say, oh, there's going to be an interview probably longer than the reporter expected. That was 5 minutes. And that it might not be on the, oops, sorry, this is the one prior. We have 24. That's not the first one. May not be on the news tonight, but, and maybe tomorrow. Still check. So that's the 24th, and yet the video was taken on the 27th. So that's actually 3 days later. 3 days later. Can we see the black antenna? No, I want to get the copy of the picture cleaned up. I'm going to try to see if I can get somebody. There is one person I know who may be able to do it. Man, this copy is a little bit better, I think, than the other one, because the hair is a little bit more visible. The antenna, we have looks like a roof antenna on the back of the, that would just be, I think, the AM FM radio. Is that not right? And yet on Stevenson's car, you can see that there is, I believe, an antenna in the front of the car. Let's have a look at what RCMP cruisers look like. RCMP cruiser images. Why don't we try the, so okay, here we have Mr. Wardman's car, and there's a black antenna in the back, right? Black numbers on the front. It was some kind of white antenna up here too. And on the picture here, we can see the white antenna on the front. No black antenna. What did it look like on Mr. Wortman's car again? Black. So, unless the picture is, which could be very poor quality, just because it's zoomed in like a lot at this point, this doesn't look to be black. Darker color, it looks to be white. What are your guys' thoughts on that? They do seem to have this white antenna at the front also. Which looks like Stevenson's car. Oh, balls. What happened here? Looks to be white. And the one on Wortman's, that's got it. You would see that. I'm pretty sure you'd see black. It's not black, it's white. So no push bar like Wortman's car. No black on the back of the car. Black hair looks to be on his head. Doesn't appear to be 6'2" or 3. The rear door open also. So by this point, maybe Heidi Stevens, or sorry, Joey Weber has been put into the car. So I do have a theory on it. It is, what happened to the, what's the paperwork and window? New, I think. Can we see the black? So that's the new sticker in the window of Mr. Wortman's vehicle. It's a dealer sticker. So this business about, oh, you know, it's old, it's beat up and all this shit. No, this is new. Also on the trunk of Mr. Wortman's car, can we see that? We've got a big antenna. And I mean, I don't think you would be able to see the antenna, but you don't see the base, which also equally is black. However, the one on the roof is pretty clear. Let's take a picture of that. Actually, let's do it like this. Right. So it's clearly black, and maybe that's silver. I think you'd be able to see it though. What do you think? I do have some other side-by-sides, but I have to edit those. I don't think this is, there's no way that this is, you know, not just the push bar, but there's all like other evidence now to speak to the fact that this is not the same car that appeared in the picture in Wortman's garage, nor the same picture car that was in the cigar hut, which then throws a lot of things into question as to I believe I discussed this with O'Dear. It throws into question about who is at the, because I believe it's the same person, and I think we know who that is. I think it's the same person, but for some reason they have the different car. So maybe it would be worthwhile finding out. Didn't even get notifications. Sorry, never notifications. Sorry for YouTube and their stuff. Welcome, Mike and Kim. Now, is that a lie in the warrant documents then? As to Howerluck, this was an interesting thing that somebody brought up with me. Howerluck apparently lives in Lance. Now, if she's from Lance, she clearly knows where Milford Station, Milford is. Exit 9. Why is it in the warrant listed as Exit 9? I think if we can go back, I'm going to try and see if I can go through the EHS tapes, or if somebody has quick access to the EHS tapes, and figuring out where that abandoned cruiser is. Mr. Moneypenny suggested that it was Mr. Moneypenny suggested that it was in Milford, I believe. He asked if it was in Milford. So, when I'm seeing these pictures, there's like some of this going on. Like, it should just logically add up. The tape in the cigar hut doesn't add up. The changing time on the tape doesn't add up. As in the release of the tape. And frankly, I still am even trying to figure out the physics of this accident. It's completely wonky. She's driving north on the exit ramp and he rams the side of her car, but how would that possibly be? Did she veer over top? There were some ruts. Somebody took some picture of some ruts that went through the median, the grass median. I don't know if those are also at play. We also have the squeal marks on the road from possibly where Mr. Weber's vehicle was, possibly. There's a lot of stuff. And I think this is why it's important to kind of try and break it down into, we need to focus, you know, because there's so much information. And if we can have like a team that's working just on the SHUBE, say, just on the SHUBE, given the photos and videos and warrant statements and possibly the EHS tape, possibly the cigar hut, just that window. That's it. Then maybe it might start to make sense. But if we keep all these details, which are going on every which way from Sunday, because there's a lot of details, it becomes very confusing. Out of commission. Which car is out of commission? There was an unregistered one, and I believe they're trying to say that the cop car was an unregistered one. Oh, yes, somebody was asking, by the way, so I can answer this question. There are a few answers that I have for some of the questions that have been asked in the Discord, and welcome to all the people new in the Discord. The black object here in the back is apparently a composter. So, yeah, no, I had questions about that, and somebody was very kind enough to go out and check for me. It's apparently hidden by the bush a little bit now, but it is a composter. So that's that. What is lying in front of the road here? I've never quite figured out. What happened down in this grassy part, I don't know. Is the door open on the rear passenger to put in Mr. Weber? I don't know. How tall is this person? I don't know. Do they apparently have hair? Listen, it just reeks of one person in this picture. One and one only. And that's not Mr. Wardman. But it didn't make sense from the very start, because the timeline never made sense that he was going to come and do this. Never. Is that why the police never found Mr. Wardman? Because the ER team departs almost right after the tracker leaves. So if the tracker is somebody who they're not supposed to be finding, if you get my drift, that's why he gets away. And yet Mr. Wortman is down at Gina Goulet's because he's already bypassed all of this and went straight to Gina Goulet's house, which was, I think, what was suggested from the very beginning, that he just went straight there and killed Gina Goulet. Not sure what it means, but is it off the lot? Is it new? It appears to be a new car. That's a new car dealer label. Somebody contacted me who works in the car business, and they said absolutely they gave me the name of the numbers and all that kind of stuff. Maybe that was how a certain officer burned their arms. Yes, burning the cars. I mean, this is not really new, as in, is the theory changed drastically? No, the theory isn't changed at all, really. But what it is the fact that we have a little bit more concrete proof. And I would say the most concrete proof of that individual is the hair in this picture. But we do have some details, possibly that this is a different vehicle. The supposed workman vehicle, the front end damaged vehicle, and that we have no push bar once again. Seems to be a fairly good picture. I think you would be able to see the push bar definitely through the bottom here, and you can't see that. Anyway, it's all just food for thought, and the physics on this accident are absolutely bizarre. I don't know if anybody knows where people were traveling. And where did Mr. Moneypenny, did you happen to go to the bridge abutments? I think somebody who was over there, I said, oh, Mr. Moneypenny's going to check that out, so don't worry about it. But did you happen to check the bridge abutments or anywhere else potentially to have damage on the front end of that car aside from the vehicle? Because there's clearly no damage. Front, we know back. We know the driver's side. The only possible damage, again, would just be on the passenger side of the supposed Stevenson car. She called Gabe's car out of commission. Yes, that's right. That's the one with the major front end damage with no push bar. So that would not be an accurate statement, in my opinion, because his car apparently had the push bar, obviously from the photos, and also we have the antenna differences between, there's two of them here, and neither of them appear to be black, and there isn't even the second one in this photo that you can see. But hopefully we can get it cleaned up. I'm not understanding what exactly is on the road either. There seems to be two objects on the front of in the road. Any hypotheses I would love to hear. And of course on the comments, I would love to hear what people's comments are. No place to give that damage. Okay. So, and I do, obviously I've spoken with a couple of people who were there, i.e., or not myself, sorry, that comes from another individual who did speak to somebody. They know the name, they've given me the name of the person. Nobody heard the accident. Nobody heard the accident. They did hear the shooting. So this is strange again. Like, this seems like a rather major accident, and I think there were two people. One actually I think I have spoken to. The other one, no. Neither of them heard the accident. Why do you not hear an accident? And you're right there. I don't know. Anyway, I won't drag it on for too long. It is a major photo. I do think people should really take the time and comparatively look at some of this stuff, stick it together with the cigar shop, stick it together with the other videos that we have. I believe I have them published. They may be unlisted. And the other pictures, and see if you can put together a timeline. See if you've got a theory on who this may possibly be, and how the accident. I'm really curious about how the accident took place, because I mean, they say that she's going the correct route of travel, which means that she would be going north on 2, and if we have Morrison down at the 2 and exit 9, that's not the right direction. She'd have to be going south, which means she was heading away from him. I mean, the whole thing is it's just bizarre. Bizarre. The window also was another thing I noticed. The window was broken out, I believe, in all of the photos. So it looks like there was some kind of, and that was part of my hypothesis, was that there was a shooting. Shots were fired at the car while it was still moving, the Heidi Stevenson car. Let's see if we can bring that up. You can kind of see it in this picture. The black hole here. Oh, and the door's open. So the door was left open. Okay. And here you can clearly see, again, the window is broken and it's quite shattered, spider webbed out from that. Any thoughts before I wrap it up? Compost vision is visible. They spun around. Okay, is there an antenna on the Gabriel Wortman car? None that is visible. None that is visible. Let's go back to that. The antenna here should, on the above the window, should be black. It does not appear to be black. It appears to be white. It's just like a little nub. And there appears to be no antenna on the trunk, which is contrary to the picture of the Wortman car. That's probably not the best, right? We had the other one here. I believe this black antenna here would show up quite well, as possibly the base of this antenna would show up in this picture, but we don't see anything. There's a driveway. They spun around without tire tracks. Yeah. Well, none that were left. Again, with the heat, I'm presuming that rubber would have burned off. Unless it was clear of the accident scene, the immediate accident scene. But there was the one set of tire tracks. Okay, so read. So, and the people over in the Discord, the new people over in the Discord, welcome to you, because I believe you're coming from the Facebook. So welcome, and that's due to Indigo. So thank you for that. A little unfortunate about the video or the picture at this point, but that's fine. It all gets people talking. I just wanted it to be in a bit better condition and also have the validation from that other person. Yes, please go ahead. But we're just waiting on that. Anyway, what is said and done is done. How suspicious, how far away are the people are 50 to 100 meters. I can talk to the one person that I do speak to. I don't think they're very far away. This picture is taken from afar, but I don't know if this person lives there or not. There's a driveway. Home must be real close. We can look at the. There are some homes that are fairly close. I know O'Dear said that she had some problems with the signs. I don't think that, I think it's just because of the angle. Things look really kind of different, but it's just the angle that we're looking at. The signs are, to me, in the correct places. I think her other references were something else. Yes, no one to the best of my knowledge heard the accident. Even it's referred to in the warrant, right? Who is that again? Moneypenny named the person. Anyways, I don't want to dox them, but they never referred to hearing the accident. All that they heard was shots, and they thought it was the siding on their house. So I don't know. It's bizarre. It's very bizarre. And I'd love to hear your guys' hypothesis on it. And so thank you very much for joining me. Please leave any comments or theories, anything below. Email me with any tips. Please come and join us over on the Discord. We're very happy to welcome lots of new people. I think because of the recommendation from Indigo, that was a 367. 7 is 180, 91. Wow. Goodness. I think that's 21 new people. Very much appreciative. It's coming together. We can get more people united and standing behind this and getting some answers for the families, which I would be very appreciative of. And I know Tara would be too, and all of the families that have reached out to me. So take care, everybody. Have a good evening. Thank you very much for joining me. Keep those thinking caps on. God bless.